Important documents from Microsoft's Activision Blizzard legal dispute leaked earlier last week, which inadvertently revealed tons of important information like future plans for next-generation technology and the entire lineup of Bethesda titles from 2020 to 2024, including a brand new Doom game by the name of Doom Year Zero. This leaked schedule had Year Zero listed as a 2023 release with one full expansion planned for the same year and another set to release in 2024, but this schedule was seemingly created in late 2019 before the pandemic impacted the gaming industry. With the majority of the titles on this list being delayed by at least a full year, it's likely that Year Zero will be officially revealed in 2024 and fully released in 2025, although it's way too early to speculate on an exact release window. The next entry in the Doom franchise could be announced in less than 3 months, as the franchise's 30th anniversary is later this year on Sunday, December 10th, and the Game Awards are being hosted only a few days prior. If the announcement doesn't come in December, it could possibly appear during the Xbox and Bethesda 2024 Summer Showcase, since a reveal at an earlier spring event is relatively unlikely. Regardless of when it gets announced, it's pretty much confirmed that Doom Year Zero will be an Xbox and PC exclusive, along with any other id Software franchise like Quake and Wolfenstein. Other documents leaked alongside the Bethesda release schedule label The Elder Scrolls 6 as an exclusive and imply that almost all Bethesda titles going forward will not be released on Nintendo and PlayStation platforms, which directly contradicts statements made by Xbox head Phil Spencer at the beginning of this year. Crossovers such as the upcoming Doom and Call of Duty crossover will be available on all platforms, but the same can't be said for AAA releases like Doom Year Zero. When it does release, Year Zero will likely aim to push PCs and Xbox consoles to the limit, as we've just recently learned that a new engine has been developed for this upcoming title. Doom Eternal runs on the id Tech 7 engine, and according to an id Software engineer who mistakenly updated his LinkedIn profile a bit too early, the id Tech 8 engine has been built to run the next big Doom game. The brand new engine and the speculated 2025 release date make it incredibly likely that this game will not only be an Xbox and PC exclusive, but it will also be a next-gen exclusive as well. Being available on every possible platform is a big part of Doom's history, so while there's still a slim chance that Year Zero will be released on other platforms, there's no chance that we'll see a version released for last-generation consoles. We can already get a good idea of how the game will work based on job listings and comments made by game director Hugo Martin during various dev streams and interviews throughout Eternal's post-launch support cycle. Year Zero will supposedly be an evolution of Doom's combat instead of a direct improvement of Eternal's formula, with Hugo Martin claiming that it will feel like a monster truck where Eternal feels like a sports car. The raw destructive power of a Slayer will be increased significantly, but the intense speed will take a hit as a direct result of the increased destructibility. While some have interpreted this as the franchise going back to the slower walking speeds of Doom 3, in reality, it just means that the game will be toned down a notch from Eternal. You won't be able to fling yourself around the arena at breakneck speeds, but the combat will still retain its iconic fast-paced nature, just like how Doom 2016 manages to have fast movement speeds even if they're never able to match Eternal's. The increased destructive power should be more than enough to compensate for the slightly slower speeds, as the brand new id Tech 8 engine will likely allow them to take Eternal's destructible demon system to a whole new level. The amount of destruction featured in the next game wasn't exactly specified, but it's incredibly safe to say that Destructible Demons 2.0 and some degree of environmental destruction will be implemented into Year Zero. While the weak point system will likely return due to its popularity and innovative nature, a lot of Eternal's key combat features probably won't become franchise staples despite being universally enjoyed. A lot of the community may be against this at first, but it's a good way to create a new and fresh experience without directly trying to outdo Eternal. Like many have said before me, it would be pretty difficult to top the incredibly rewarding combat loop that we've been enjoying throughout the past 3 years. Making a direct sequel may overcrowd the game and disrupt the nearly perfect gameplay. Instead of trying to add moves to the Doom dance, it would probably be more enjoyable if they created an entirely new dance that keeps a few of the moves we all know and love, while throwing in some new ones to keep us on our toes. And of course, a hero is only as strong as the enemies he defeats, so Year Zero is going to have to throw some insanely strong enemies at the Slayer to make him really feel like the most powerful badass he's ever been. The enemies that we face, specifically the main antagonist of the game, all depend on whether the game is a prequel or a sequel. Hugo Martin has previously stated that the makers are all still alive after the ending of the Ancient Gods Part 2, and they're currently evolving into Cthulhu monsters similar to Sammer's final form. They're almost guaranteed to rise up and fill the power vacuum left by the Dark Lord now that the Slayer isn't there to stop them. But since this will inadvertently put humanity in harm's way once again, the Slayer will be set free to deliver his own form of vengeance upon the Maker race. But that's only going to happen in a sequel to Doom Eternal, which may happen later down the line, as the title Year Zero implies that it's a prequel game. I've seen some members of the community point out that Year Zero could be referring to a possible timeline reset caused by the death of the Dark Lord, or that it could be a reference to a song by the band Ghost where a powerful force of evil reclaims humanity, but those aren't the strongest theories. It's important to note that the schedule Doom Year Zero comes from has a large focus on financial predictions, meaning that Year Zero is likely a placeholder name created before the game had even fully entered the concept stage, so it wouldn't be smart of us to expect the name or even the concept of the game to have stayed the same. Even though it may seem like we're absolutely getting a prequel, in reality we have no idea what we're actually getting due to the name being nothing more than a placeholder. The details provided by Hugo Martin were given to us almost 2 years after Year Zero was named, which pretty much confirms that the game will be a sequel instead of a prequel. But since we've already gone over the potential plotline for a sequel, it's only fair that I mention a few prequel possibilities as well. The idea of Year Zero being a remake of any previous Doom game is completely out of the picture, as Hugo Martin stated that they aren't into doing remakes despite their popularity and demand. Doom Eternal was originally supposed to feature 2 campaign expansions that put players into the shoes of survivors on Earth during the initial demonic invasion. This concept was replaced by the Ancient Gods at some point during development, but a good portion of the community still seems to want to see this idea put into action. While it would certainly be slower than Eternal, I don't think it could manage to feel more destructive in a natural way. Having an unpowered human be more destructive than the legendary Doomslayer just wouldn't feel right. Playing as a basic soldier would mean removing Doom's fast movement abilities and taking away things like glory kills and chainsaw ammo refills, which just doesn't seem like something they would do after how successful the past 2 games have been. You can take a lot of things away from Doom and still have it work, but movement certainly isn't one of them. While it is somewhat possible, they definitely scrapped the idea for a reason, and I don't think they'll revisit the concept anytime soon. This leaves us with either a prequel set between Doom 2016 and Eternal, one set during the Slayer's time of the Night Sentinels, and one set before the events of the first Doom. The demonic invasion had really just begun during the original Doom, so a prequel to the first game wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. They announced a comic that would explain the gap between 2016 and Eternal during a dev stream, but the last update we got on the comic was in late 2021, and we've heard nothing since. Even if the comic was cancelled, they wouldn't have started to create one if their next project was about the events between the 2 games, so that's also out of the picture. The only real possibility we have left is the Slayer's time with the Sentinels between Doom 64 and 2016, which wouldn't be an awful choice. I'm personally not a fan of this idea since we already know so much about those events, and Doom is a franchise about moving forwards, not backwards, but they could definitely get away with it. The slower but more destructive gameplay style would make sense due to the Slayer's Sentinel weaponry being a bit slower but more powerful than advanced weapons like the chain gun or heavy cannon. While it wouldn't really be the franchise's origin, it would tell the story of how Doomguy became a Doomslayer, technically making it the Slayer's origin, so Year Zero could still apply. If they end up doing a prequel instead of a sequel, I think this is easily their best option, but we won't know what they have planned for the next game until it gets an official reveal. Outside of confirmed information like the Xbox exclusivity and the monster truck gameplay style, we don't know a whole lot about the game or even if it's still being made, so we'll just have to be patient and wait until we get a reveal trailer. In the meantime, the franchise will continue to produce great content like Sigil 2, which is coming in December, along with various side content like the upcoming crossover with Call of Duty. Click on the video that's on screen now to learn about Doom's new crossover with another legendary FPS franchise. Thank you all so much for watching today's video, I hope you enjoyed it. That's pretty much all I have for now though. Until next time.